Welcome to All Things Possible TV. I'm Kris Barney, and I'm thrilled to have you here with me for this episode. So much of the time in this game of life that we've been given here, we have been dealt a really tough challenges and different trials, different things in our life that maybe we're not handling really well, or maybe we are. We're going to talk in this episode on how we're handling that, what we're doing, and maybe if we could do it a little bit differently. So I want you to stick around and see how you are handling the hand you've been dealt. Before we really jump into a lot of content, I want to invite you to go to the website right here on the screen, www.allthingspossible.biz, and get our gift to you is our 7 traits. I teach 7 traits to create your thriving life. These traits are sent to you as a video series, and it will help you to take the steps necessary to actually change your life right now. Gives you the opportunity to implement simple steps and ways to actually live your life to have it be different. So jump on this website and get those traits for you right now. Let's jump back to our episode. This week I want to do things just a little bit differently, just kind of shake it up. I mean, in life, is it really a game? No. But so much of the time we are in our life and we have things going on, and I want to refer to it as a game. Now, I'm not a big poker, gambler, player, but I want to refer to a few things in that sense. So I'm not going to do a great job of this because that's not really what I do. But in some things, when you're gambling, there's different terminologies. So, like if you were to bet it all. Now, when we have a really good hand, we think we're really doing really well. Things are looking really good. They're in our favor, right? So say we had, aces high, right? And we've got a full house and we're really betting in our favor. There's not any fear involved. Things are going really good. Our job's really good. We're having really good success. Things are looking really good for us. Well, what happens if we get dealt that, that card that's not so good, or maybe we don't have the aces high, right? Maybe our full house isn't a full house. It's 2 pair. Okay, maybe that hand isn't quite as good. So we're not going to bet it all, right? And we're not ready to be like, oh, we all of a sudden don't have the best hand to bet it all. We have to take a good assessment on where that's at and if we need to do it differently. Sometimes we get so caught up in where things are or where they were. Sometimes we're so caught up in where they were that we can't really assess where we are. Things start to change and we don't keep up on that. And pretty soon we find ourselves in a big mess. We're in debt, we've got bad relationships, and we haven't really been maintaining where we need to be. We haven't spent the quality time with our spouse or significant other. We haven't been spending time with our kids. We've missed some of those important, school functions or those things that really matter to our children. And we're not spending the time where we need to. Those are some of the key things in being maybe a good card in your hand, right? And having those key components that you need in your hand when you're playing that game. Well, sometimes we go through life with our poker face. So we have this, we go to work and we go everywhere and we pretend, we put our poker face on and we're like, oh yeah, I've got a great hand, and yet everything is not so great. We have problems at home, we're not making the bills, we pretend. In fact, I have some really good clients that, pretend out there in the world and they're coming to me and life's falling apart. I also have some people that are not clients that I see every day that are pretending that things are okay and they're not. Things are really falling apart and yet they're not changing what they're doing. We need to find out when enough's enough. Stop the pretend and choose to do something different. When is it enough to, what do we call it? When is it time to fold? Now, when it's time to fold, that doesn't mean like we're done, no more, life's over, it's not worth it. That's not right. No, when is it time to make a change? When is it time to assess the situation? Do we need to add exercise? Do we need to add goal setting? Do we need to add a different nutrition and lifestyle? Do we need to get off the couch? Do we need to put more emphasis on relationships? Do we need to possibly consider some education to get a better job? What do you need to do to make a change? There is so many times in our life that we get stuck, and yet we're not willing to make that decision to make a change. And when we really look at, are we doing well with the hand we've been dealt, it comes down to, are we handling the things that are happening in our life? Now, there's a lot of things that happen in our life when we can't be prepared. Let me give you an example. So, when my child had cancer, I couldn't be prepared for that. But during cancer, we took a lot of steps to do life differently. There were times when my husband would work 24-hour shifts, not even come home, sleep in his truck and go back to work, so we had extra money to pay for medical bills. And I'm not saying, woe is us, I'm saying we had to do it a lot different. And I know a lot of people, when things get tough, they have to change the patterns, they have to change how they're doing things. And that is what happens when life gets really different and things come up. But what about the little things, when the little things start to happen? So say you're in a relationship and you start having that bickering. At what point do you say, this is not how we do this? At what point do you stop the situation and say, we really need to do this differently? We need to set boundaries. We need to put our relationship as an important situation that we need to handle. At what point do you say, it's time to make a change? When do we make the decision and make a different choice? In our lives, we have got to decide when it's time to make those decisions, to make different choices. When do we put in a new pattern? When do we take a new step? What do we need to do to change how our life really goes? We don't just keep playing the game. There are times when it's time to run away from the game. In fact, Kenny Rogers sang a song called The Gambler. Kenny Rogers was a country singer many years ago, and The Gambler was a song that he had a chorus that said, you've got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, and know when to run. And I love that chorus because it's true. You do have to know when to hold them. When things are going good, know when to hold them. Know when to have that consistent behavior. Know when to do good habits. Know when to consistently do declarations and to do positive behaviors. Know when to surround yourself with people that are supportive and build you up. And when to let go of those that tear you down. Know when it's good to do gratitude and positive reinforcement to give you better success in your life and to allow you to move forward rather than backwards. Make sure that you're doing the right things when you're hold'em, that you're actually in that pattern of doing really good steps in the direction that you want to go. That you're not living in the past, that you're not constantly in battle with yourself. That's when we have the most progress, is when we have really healthy habits going on. We're taking those baby steps to constantly move forward. It's when you've constantly got that a good book that's positive and moving you forward, whether that's in new and for me it's positive, whether it's scripture or it's just, I love to learn, and so it could be just that positive book that's teaching you new concepts and training you in a new area. Maybe it's new education in a different field. Maybe it's just teaching you that positive personal development, or about your thoughts, or how to create something new in relationships. What is it that you've got going on that you constantly have at your fingertips that you can grab at any moment? What is that positive, whether it's meditation, whether it's prayer? How is that connection with your higher power or your universe? How do you connect? Where do you turn? You know, when we talk about this, the hand that you've been dealt, how many times have you looked at your hand and been jealous of someone else and felt like they got dealt such a better hand? You know, in our lives, we constantly, even if we don't want to, we tend to look at and think, oh, they've got it so much easier than I do. And yet, if we really look, we can always find someone that has it worse than we do. And for a long time, I was going through a lot of challenges and a lot of difficulty, and there were very few that had a lot worse than we did. And yet, once I looked, there was a lot that had it worse than I did. And it doesn't take long. You will always find someone who has it worse than you do. And I recently had gone through just not huge things, but some issues and some things, some health challenges and some different things. And it didn't take me very long, just looking in my own family, to start to recognize that there were some big challenges going on. I had a brother-in-law that was diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease. He's only 53. Huge challenge, bigger challenge than anything our family's gone through. I have a sister-in-law that fought cancer for a long time. She's 40. She was clean for 5 months, just got diagnosed again with it back. We don't even know if there's a way to fight it. You know, my own father was fighting kidney stones and bladder infections and cancer, was doing radiation, some skin cancer, and was diagnosed with another cancer, a stage 5 cancer, and had to finish his radiation with one before he could start treatment of the other. That's just recently in the last few months. All you have to do is look. All you have to do is look around. You will find somebody who has been dealt a worse hand. Someone who's got a challenge that's harder than your challenge right now. Another way to see your challenge in a different light is for you to actually go out and lighten someone else's load. For you to help them with the hand they've been dealt so that it's not so heavy. To go out and serve. When we go do service for other people, people that can't do something for themselves, when you can go and serve and do that service, which I teach all the time, and do sincere service when you can actually change them and you can do something for them that they can't do for themselves, it's amazing. And it will help you so much. It will lift you and allow you to feel of that burden of your own lifted. When we want to see our own hand we've been dealt to be a better hand, so that we can bet it all and we don't have to have fear, and we can know that we've got those aces in our hand. We have that full house or that flush, right? That's because we have been preparing it with the right things. We're full of gratitude. We've been serving. We have always got good going on in our life. We're seeking for good, and we have been doing those things that constantly come back. What you put out there comes back multiplied. And if you do it for the right reasons, you don't go, oh, I'm going to have this reward if I go do this. That's not going to work. But if you do it because you want to do it, because you want to serve others, because you want to make a difference for other people, because deep in your heart, you really do want good for other people. You want to change the world. You want to make other people's lives better. Your own life will be better if you will do it. There's so many times when we start feeling sorry for ourselves and we start going, this is wrong and this is wrong and this is wrong and this is bad and this is bad and this went wrong, and we make our list, and pretty soon all we see is the bad. And I'm not saying that I don't do this, because I've kind of been in my own little dilemma recently. I've had some challenges and I've been like, oh my goodness, this is really difficult. I've been struggling. And when you go into those struggles, the first thing you need to do is assess, where can I go make a difference? What could I do to help someone? The first thing I did is reached out to 3 people. I reached out to 3 people that I could serve. that I knew had it worse, I reached out to make a difference. And that made me feel better because I knew they needed it. I knew I could help lift them. I reached out and served someone else, and it in turn made me feel better. Now, I didn't go, oh, I'm so glad I helped you because now it's going to help me. No, I genuinely wanted to serve someone. I wanted to serve someone who was having a difficult time, who was struggling, who was honestly needing someone to be there for him, needing some mentoring, needing some help, needing some service. There are so many people in this world that really genuinely deserve for us to be willing to step it up and to be there. And if you will take the opportunity to do that, it will change your life. It's a game changer. And if in this life and this game in your life, and if you are feeling like the hand you've been dealt is not all that you thought it was going to be, you can change it. You can have a whole new hand. Fold the one you have and decide what needs to change. Get 5 new cards. Let's start again and start doing things that are working. Put baby steps in place that can actually change your momentum, that can change the direction that you're going. Put the things in place that you need to stabilize you and move forward. Start working in the different areas of your life that can make change. We can always improve. No matter who you are, I don't care who you are. I make improvements all the time. You can make improvements all the time. I know great people, and the greatest of the great constantly are on self-improvement patterns. They do things every single day. I've coached with a lot of coaches. I have actually been to a lot of seminars and been to a lot of trainings, and they all teach the same thing. They start their day the same way, and it's all about putting those same steps in place and continuing on that path. Making those right steps and those right changes in your life can make a difference. It's not betting it all and doing nothing. It's not going to one-time cures all. It's making those changes and putting those things into play and continuing to make that progress. I know that it's possible to continually have the progress in your life. I know that if you want your life to be better, your life can change. And you can change your relationships. You can change how you're parenting. You can change a lot of how your children are responding, whether it's at school or at home, in how you do things. There's a lot of things that you can do and a lot of ways that we can help you here at All Things Possible. There's a lot of ways that through my husband's energy healing, you can release the emotional baggage and you can feel better. You can be healthier and you can be happier. I love to be able to assist others and to make those changes and to be able to help you on your path to come up with your answers and to move forward in your life so that when you're playing that hand you've been dealt, that you're having the best success possible. We love to give you tips and tools on these videos and love to have you here with us on our episodes. When you are looking at your life and the hand you've been dealt, I want you to look at what you're focusing on. What are you wanting out of life? Have you set goals? Have you prioritized those areas in your life that matter? How much time are you spending on those? Where are they on your priority scale? And how do they fall into place? What comes first? Your kids, your work, your relationships. Let's find how that is and how you balance that and what we can do to help you with that. I'd love to offer you a strategy session with myself and see what we could do to serve you and to help you see what that next step is for you. Go to my website right here on the screen, allthingspossible.biz, and just click on that Contact Us button, send me an email and let me know you would like a strategy session with me. And I'd love to sit down, spend a few minutes on the phone with you and see what your next step is and how we could work together, or how I can assist you to see what you could do to have your life improve. Again, you can get our free gift to you, the 7 traits to create your thriving life, and get that video series as well on our website, and just opt into that front page, that home page, and get our gift for you. We love having you here with All Things Possible, and join us next time for the next episode here on All Things Possible TV. I'm Kris Barney, and thanks for being here. Bye-bye.